Hi guys, welcome to our post-Colorado hunting video. If you guys haven't seen our full-length Colorado 2019 hunting trip, make sure you go and check that out. This was a September 2019 Colorado elk hunt, public land, do-it-yourself. Temps were approximately 25 to 65 degrees, and we're going to jump right in on some things we liked, didn't like, and things we would change. So I'm going to let Tom take it away. Thanks again for joining us.
Okay. First category is all the good stuff. This is all the stuff that we did right, all the equipment that we took that was spot on. All the research was exactly where it needed to be. We wore merino clothes, pretty much underwear, shirts, everything we could get merino, socks. Not to get too specific in that, we found some really good socks, darn tough socks. Awesome, everybody loves them. We've been wearing them on a daily basis now. If you don't have merino clothes, you'd be in trouble. We got wet a lot of sweat and a lot of hard work. They would dry super fast, didn't stink. It's a must. You have to have merino clothes. Camp shoes. I personally didn't bring camp shoes. I was a little bit jealous. Kelly and Carson both brought camp shoes, and they were pretty awesome. At the end of the night, get down in the tent, the cot, take your boots off, let your feet dry out or whatever, and everybody's feet hurt at the end of the day. It's not a necessity, definitely a luxury that I would bring if we went back and did it again. Cots. We took the Helinex cots, about 2 pounds roughly, don't quote me on that. In my opinion, I think in everybody else's opinion, definitely worth it. It got us up off the ground. You know, it's not like sleeping in your bed at home, but it was way better than sleeping down in the dirt, and I would consider it a must. We do it again, definitely take the cots. Like Kelly.
Cool, jumping in the next one here, good category. We got the tipi tent. We had a kifaru 8-man tipi tent, awesome. Wicks moisture, awesome. And we did have a wood stove in it as well. Kept us warm at nighttime, kept us warm in the morning. We got to fire up the wood stove, awesome. Also cook on top of it. We loved it. Great to have. Definitely a luxury item, a little bit heavy, but awesome to have. Next on the list we have jet boil. We only used one, not even a full canister of fuel. We had 3 guys, 8 days. We did not drink coffee very often, only once or twice in the morning. We just didn't feel like we needed it or wanted to go through the effort of making it. So jet boil is awesome though, cooks so fast, boils. And there's my 3, so jumping back to Tom.
Tylenol PMs, we talked about it, discussed it. I believe Carson was the only one that used it before we left. I was under the impression I probably wouldn't need it, but we brought it for just in case. And I ended up using it the second day, and I used it every night we spent on the mountain. It was awesome. Didn't make me groggy in the morning. Got a good night's sleep. Kelly ended up using it, and Carson ended up using it. We used every bit that we took. We took 2 for each night, and we used all of them. Chapstick. I gave Kelly crap. He said, "You want some chapstick?" I'm like, "Nope, don't use the stuff. I'm all good to go." Well, when you're up and down the mountains and you're breathing heavy and you're working hard and you're dehydrated, lips got cracked, sucked really bad. Ended up getting some chapstick from Kelly, and I probably never heard the end of it. It was definitely a necessity for me. It was a good thing to have. It helped out big time. Emergency blanket. Obviously, emergency blanket in case of emergency, you're going to need that. We did not use it for that purpose. We used it for laying meat out. Every time we harvest an animal, we quartered, deboned, and did everything on the emergency blanket. It was super helpful. Super lightweight, you know, they roll up real small. Definitely something that we'll be using again, not a necessity, but we would definitely be taking those again. They're multi-purpose.
We got a bone saw for doing your skull cap for your antlers. It's really important that you have a saw that can cut through that. Or if you weren't mounting your animal for whatever reason, you want to do a European mount or whatever the case may be, bone saw comes in handy. We were definitely glad we had it. Easy food, this is a big one. You must have food that you enjoy and that is simple and easy to prepare. I personally love things like Snickers, M&Ms, cashews, anything that I could grab and eat. And Tom had some other items like some bagel and peanut butter and things like that. You had to physically get a utensil out and do that. He didn't make it the whole trip.
I didn't even eat them.
So easy food is super important. We would eat mountain houses, things like mac and cheese, which we all absolutely love. We didn't want to take the 6 to 8 to 10 minutes of boiling that. It was just too much effort. So anything that's easy is really important. Moving on, conditioning. We did a lot of training for this trip, and conditioning was awesome. Our muscles did really well, and that's just a huge aspect of this type of hunting.
Deboning and caping. We watched a lot of YouTube videos. We did in talking to people, networking, socializing, and everybody seems to carry a lot of elk out whole hindquarters. Most animals, when people quarter, they take whole hindquarters. We took the time after Kelly killed his elk and all the mule deer too, to cape out and do the taxidermy prepping and everything on the mountain. We deboned everything, got down to the nitty gritty, took all the good meat and cut all the fat, trimmed it. Like, we took the time to do it right, and it was huge. We spent 10 to 12 hours packing out on our feet, and when it got down to the end, we were all very thankful that we got rid of that 10, 20, 30 pounds, whatever, that fat and boned and all the bad stuff that we didn't need. That was huge. That helped out a lot. That's good for a good category. Needs improvement. This is just stuff that we decided that it wasn't the best, or we could work on, or maybe come up with a better situation if we do this, again, which I'm sure. Arrows tighten the quiver. We all managed to lose an arrow out of our quiver at some point in time throughout the hunt, and we didn't even realize it. Mine personally was packing Kelly's elk out. I had my bow with me, walking through some brush. By the time I got down the bottom of the mountain, I was missing arrows. They clip in fairly tight for normal bow hunting out of a tree stand, climbing a mountain, it's on the back of your pack. Just doing the nitty gritty, we all end up losing arrows throughout the process. Judging distance, we did fairly well judging distance. It's definitely way different for us. We don't have a whole lot of elevation where we live, so we get out there and just make sure that you're really confident in judging distance and the elevation aspect. That up and downhill will really throw you off.
We overjudged all of our distance, so if it's just deceiving. There's so many obstacles in your way, and a lot of times we thought it was 30 yards, and that would end up being 20 yards. We were 10 yards further on all of our judgments. So we had rangefinders. It's just one of those things. Sometimes you don't have time, so definitely get comfortable and test yourself when you get there. The first couple days, hey, that tree's this. That'll help you a lot. All right, next up, inReach, communication. Obviously, cell phones don't work, or most of the time, so inReach devices. Tom had one, Carson had one, I did not have one. So the first couple days we split up. I had no way of communicating with these guys, and safety issue, things that we have to be better on. So I will have an inReach for the next trip, and it worked awesome. GPS coordinates takes a little bit of time, but they're awesome. Next up, here's a good one. Learn to call, right? So don't be arrogant like myself and think we're going to go out there and just sneak hunt and shoot all these big elk, right? So learn to call. We'll definitely going to keep working on that and getting better in that category. Foot care, this was a big one. Our feet did really well. They just had a lot of moisture. We had a hard time with moisture the entire time. It was like walking on pins and needles. We never got any blisters, and we all really enjoyed our boots. We felt like we had good ankle support. We were wearing crispi boots, and we all really enjoyed them. We had several hundred miles on them before the trip. It was just more of a matter of having moisture and our feet being wet, even with the merino wool socks. We just couldn't get the moisture out. So we've been told that some baby powder or changing insoles, both those things might help us in the future, and we're definitely going to do some experimenting with that.
1 quart Sawyer bags. So we took the gravity feed Sawyer water filter system. Worked out awesome. It was phenomenal. These guys used a different system in Alaska, and it was terrible, and this worked really good, I thought. The one downfall we had, I had one 1 quart bag, and we go out for our day trips and leave camp, go out elk hunting. We would run into water, and we didn't take advantage of that situation. So we would have to use that 1 quart bag, and everybody should probably have one. It would have been a huge help. You should have, some kind of lightweight system in your day bag for that.
Or emergency straws. They make some emergency straws. When we were packing out, we ran into a situation where we completely ran out of water, and we did not have any sort of gravity filter left. So just a way to drink water if you get in a bind is really important. I would have had a couple more of those quart bags. They don't weigh anything, and I'd make sure one was in my pack at all times.
Other reason we say that is because we had 1 gallon bags, and we had a water supply at camp. We had a bunch of 1 gallon bags. They were just really big. You just need a smaller system for that day trip. Taller tripods. I didn't really experience this much. Kelly personally did. I'll let you talk about that, honestly.
Tripods for videotaping. Obviously, some of you guys may or may not videotape your hunts. the bull that I shot on day 3, I just had some brush in the way, and our tripod was only 3 feet tall, just so we want to go super lightweight. I'd have a better tripod. We use it every day. It's with us from sun up to sundown. A better, heavier duty tripod. Carson also broke one of the legs on his tripod. Again, it's give and take as far as we want lightweight, but we also want durability in that. So I would have a full length 5 to 6 foot tripod if I went again, just to make sure that we capture those moments.
Solar chargers. So I had a solar charger and Carson had a solar charger. We tested them before we left and they worked. Mine was a battery pack version and it worked, it charged, but it did not charge efficiently. I couldn't get a charge fast enough. Like me and Kelly were splitting a battery pack and it wouldn't charge in one day. So we would drain it between the inReaches and the phones and it just didn't charge fast enough. So that's kind of a personal preference. We've talked about it. Bring battery packs, little battery packs, better solar charger. It's really up to you. I would just definitely test all that out before you get out on the mountain and decide that that's not what you want. Camp chair. I threw this one in there. Definitely a luxury item, no doubt. A couple pounds, you know, you can get a couple chairs for $1 or $2. Would have been kind of nice at the end of the day, walking all day. We sat on the cots. The Helix cots are only a couple inches off the ground. Would have been really nice to sit in a chair and eat at the end of the day. Not a necessity by any means, but a luxury item, and if I had a choice, I probably would carry one out the mountain.
Next one that I put on there, Nalgene bottle in and out of my pack. So I had an Exo pack, Nalgene bottle. I don't prefer to use the bladder, it's just a personal preference. I had a really hard time of getting my bottle in and out of my stretch pocket. So they do make an aftermarket bottle holder that straps right to your hip there on the belt. And I purchased one now, so I will have one for the future. But I just experienced some trouble getting my bottle in and out. I constantly have to ask him to help me put my bottle in and out of my pack. It was kind of frustrating.
Never used binoculars. I had a bino harness. Carson had a bino harness. Kelly did not. I did not bring my binoculars with us out the mountain. I used my bino harness for my GPS, my cell phone. We use Onyx Maps. Wind checker, rangefinder. It was great for storage. I believe we used binoculars one time. We used Carson's binoculars. Kelly used them looking over a field one time for one afternoon hunt. It's a personal preference. Where we were hunting was super thick, a lot of woods, and there wasn't really a whole lot of need for them. That situation, that's how it played out. The trekking poles, we all tested them before we left to go on the elk hunt, and we all kind of decided against them. We did not bring any trekking poles, and I never really felt a need for trekking poles.
No.
Personal preference. Talk about puppies.
Puppies, we all had some form of puppies or some brand of puppies that we brought up with us. We didn't experience any real need for them. Tom slept in them a little bit in a sleeping bag. Again, that was a comfort thing. He just didn't like being in his mummy bag with them on or whatnot, so he wore them, keep warm at night. I bundled up in my sleeping bag, never wore my puppies. We also didn't glass a lot, so that's something to keep in mind of what terrain you're hunting in or your style of hunting. We just personally didn't use them very often. But again, it's one of those things that we're still going to continue to bring. We just wanted to bring light to it that we didn't use it. Rain gear is another thing that some of us brought, some of us didn't. We did not receive one drop of rain in the full 8 days that we were there. Of course, things change. Check your terrain, check the weather in your areas in the years past to see if that's something that you guys need. We never wore rain gear, we never brought rain gear, and we're happy we didn't. Last thing is fix-it kits for me is we each had fix-it kits, super glue, gator cord, zip ties, electrical tape, things like that. I never had to dig into my fix-it kit. I just wanted to, that's something that, we cost us weight going up the mountain. Again, I may still continue to bring that, but we just wanted to point out that we didn't use it.
I think we would probably bring a fix-it kit again, but maybe just specific items. We used not a lot of weight, but more weight than we needed, and we didn't use any of the tools or anything. Maybe get a little bit more nitty-gritty on it. Bug spray and sunscreen, I'll lump those together. We brought them not knowing what we were going to encounter. We never used any of those. Temps were from 25 to 65. On another note, with that 25 to 65, we brought the puffies and all that stuff, didn't really use them. The one morning that it was fairly cold, we kind of layered up a little bit, put an extra shirt, extra pair of pants on or something, and the minute we started hiking, they all came back off. I don't say we overkill the clothes because it might be a necessity, but you know, in certain situations, but we personally didn't use them.
That's about all we got for you guys. If you have questions, please leave us a comment below. We'll do our best to try to get you answers to those questions. Also, if you haven't checked out our full episodes 1 through 10 on Braggin' Rightz, simply type in YouTube Braggin' Rightz Outdoors, click on our link, like and subscribe. We appreciate all your views so much, and thanks again for watching.